Here at KCOY 12, we are committed to bringing you the stories of the people and the organizations in our community, making a difference in the lives of the youth in our community, especially in the light of the recent violence that we've been experiencing. Today we want to talk about the Los Prietos Boys Camp. It's in the Los Padres National Forest. Scott Hennessee is doing a very special report on it, and he's with us here today to talk more about the piece. Scott, powerful story that you have about Los Prietos Boys Camp. In a nutshell, what is the camp?
It is a place for juvenile offenders to go to get their lives straightened out. And the first thing you kind of notice when you go there is just that it is not what you think of when you think about lockup. It's not a place where the boys go like a juvenile hall or a prison where they're in a cell and they're isolated from the others and they're being punished. It is a place where they are going, it is a correctional facility, and they do get sentenced to a term of 4 to 6 months. But it is really about opening them up to possibilities of things in life that they may not have known about previously. It's not about punishment as much as it is about discipline and really possibility of what else is out there in life.
You know, as a reporter, but even more importantly, just a visitor at the camp, what did it feel like when you were there?
It felt like a camp. It felt like a place where people were working together. And one of the things that they told us is that we didn't touch on in the piece too much specifically is that while they're sentenced to 6 months, typically 180 days, they have to earn that time. And they earn it by good behavior. And they are reviewed each week by their peers, by their supervisors, by other people who are there at the camp. So they have to learn that they have to check their attitude and they have to check whatever it was that got them there and get in line and get together and work together with these other people who they may see on the streets back home and be encouraged to fight with or not associate with, but at Los Prietos they have to come together and work together.
You mentioned they sort of have to check their attitude at the door, check their gang affiliation at the door. Did you notice attitude from the boys? Did you notice any sense of unity, or was there still sort of a tension with anybody?
Well, we saw them doing some calisthenics in their barracks, which they all share together. We saw them cleaning up around. There were a few of them and who were friendly, and they're not handcuffed. They're not shackled up. They're in this nice environment. So I think the environment of being there in the forest, this pristine area, definitely can help you kind of get a better mood about yourself. We saw them working in the kitchen. They were happy there we were able to speak with them off camera. They were happy to be learning some things that could potentially get them a job. And then we saw some in a new program that they just started at the beginning of this year, 2016, a yoga program, which helps them with their mental health, also with their physical strength, and it's something that they can take with them. They do have psychiatrists, they have psychologists, they have those types of professionals that can help them with their mental health issues, but the yoga is something that, aside from the medication and those professionals, that they hope that they can use in the future. And we did see a couple of boys who were there for the first time who I think naturally were a little bit skeptical, and maybe you could see that they wanted to be someplace else. But there were also a few boys who had been there, who had done the yoga a few times before, and they looked to be centering themselves, as it were, and going through the program, and they looked to be benefiting from it and being happy enough to be there.
I understand from talking to you and Lori Holbrook, who's one of the directors there, that only specific people are chosen for the camp. Unfortunately, There's just too many. They can't all get in. From what you saw, those who are chosen, who have a fighting chance in the eyes of law enforcement and these camp directors, do you think they have a chance to reintegrate and be successful?
Well, there are many success stories over the years, and James Clark, who we spoke with, the senior deputy probation officer, he says he's been there 34 years. 4,000 or 5,000 boys have gone through there in that time, and he sees them all over the community, and we see them too. We just don't know. They're people who had problems earlier in life, and they're able to get it together. But at the same time, there are some who do not get it together, and they do reoffend, and they do get kicked back to juvenile hall. But even those who do go back into the system do look back at their time at the camp as a time when they had an opportunity and they were given this chance to do something else with their lives. And it's not an inexpensive program to run. It costs $2.1 million a year, which they get state and federal funds to cover, and then they also work with different charitable organizations who get them some money to go out and into the community, which is another thing we didn't touch on too much in the piece, just opening things up. Like they take them on trips to museums, they take them to the beach, they take them to ball games. Some of those things they can earn. But one thing they say is yes, there is an expense to this, but you're talking about a 15, 16, 17-year-old boy. They're going to be around another 60 or 70 years. And do you want them to be a good tax-paying citizen that's going to contribute to society, or do you want them to continue to be a problem for many years down the road? So they see it as a positive thing to get these kids while they're still young, because they are still kids. You look at them and they're young, and maybe they have done some serious crime, and they do have to pay for it. I mean, this is not an easy thing to go to this camp. They still have to work, and if they mess up, they know that they can go to a less pleasant place like a juvenile hall or a prison. But they say, and they feel like over the years, the many years they've been doing this, that the investment is worth it.
Well, Scott, it's a wonderful piece, so we hope a lot of people will check it out. Check it out on KCOY.com, and remember that KCOY, as we mentioned, committed to bringing you many more stories like this, highlighting the important people in our community, so stay with us for that. Scott, thanks for sharing the story with us.
Thank you, Melissa.